I'm Martha Hellander, and I've been gardening for about 40 years, but the last 30 years here in this suburban Chicago garden in Wilmette. And in this video, we'll talk about the sustainability that I practice here and talk about the interconnection between nature and humans and the beauty of nature and how it feeds the soul. So what drew me to gardening was my love of nature that started from my earliest days in life, and as I've gotten older, I've been drawn to the beauty primarily, and then later I learned about the risks of the pollinators dying and the native plants disappearing, and I thought, what can I do as an individual here in my suburban garden in north of Chicago? And I decided I can make a sanctuary for plants and pollinators, and also for myself and my family. And this tunnel that I made through the Prairie Garden instinctively pulled together plants from both sides here, and I tied them together over the children of the neighborhood love to come over here and play in my garden, and this is one of their favorite spots, and I always tell them this is what the prairie was like. Now we're down to, what, 1% of the land in Illinois, but what it used to be like to go through the prairie, you'd have to find your way through these tall sunflowers and cup plants and Joe Pye weed over there, and they love it. They love to look up and see the prairie plants overhead. Fence. I just walk around the garden and I find where I have stick piles or the stalks of, this is cup plant stalks and sawtooth sunflower branches that I pruned off of trees, and dried grass, all of which I grow in my garden. This chain link dog kennel was here when we moved here almost 30 years ago. We've never had a dog that had any interest in being in it, but I make it into a hoop house. I've done it before with tent poles, but this time I've used a piece of hog panel from a farm store, and I will be covering it with plastic and growing Swiss chard and kale and lettuce and things. I'm going to clear this out so that I have a little greenhouse in the winter. So these logs are from our silver maple that we had to remove a limb. I try to keep all pruned limbs and stumps and things as much as I can on the property, and it adds to, makes paths, and it adds, we've got mushrooms growing on it, and lichens that make mycelium. But I like working with the plants because plants have an energy that if you get to understand their energy, you can work with it. They're always leaning, or they're reaching for a certain place, and you can find, two that have opposing energy. So I like to work with the materials that I find. So this is the string that I tie things with, and sometimes I'll make a little circle just because I find it interesting and beautiful, and at this point I'm thinking of spiders and the spider webs I've seen, and I make all of these trellises by hand. I just use sticks. This is a piece of old copper wire. Here's another one. I just made this, and it makes me happy to do this because when I'm out here, I'm so happy. I don't want to be anyplace else. So come with me and we'll go forest bathing. These are arborvitaes. I planted all of these, and like they do in Japan, but we can do it here too, or anywhere, you plant your trees and then you come and walk among them and inhale the scent, and it actually increases serotonin, it leads to peaceful feelings, it increases happiness, and they prescribe it in Japan. Every day is different. you know. Some people will say, oh, I want something that'll bloom all summer and I don't want to have to do any work. And I go, this is joy. I play in the garden every day. I'm playing in my garden. It's not work. And if it's changing every day, you never get bored. I'm never bored.